to Brookside Gardens Visitor Center that we are hosting our 7th annual National Disability Employment Awareness Month, Ndeam, Employer Recognition Event. And I am so excited to be here with all of you in person and camera X, for those of you who are going to be watching us later. Thanks for coming out today. For those who don't know me, I think I know most of you. I'm Steve Lance. I'm the Director of Partnerships here at Seec, and I'm going to be your MC through the beginning part of this session before we hand it off to the really exciting part of the awards. I just wanted to say I was very insistent, a little bit kind of adamant about us doing an in-person event. And I know Katie was actually probably not as happy about this back in the summer with Delta starting to rage on and numbers going crazy. Like, there was a lot of eyes rolling about having this event, but I can't be more excited to see everyone here and feel this energy and feel the presence of everyone to celebrate. So I really appreciate everyone coming out. It's definitely been a while for us to physically be here, come together, and we really appreciate that everyone made the effort to come together. I do hope that there will be more and more of these events. I do know that the numbers of cases here in Montgomery County are reducing, and I think at midnight, somebody said today at midnight, that this indoor mask mandate may be lifted too, so we can celebrate with that hopefully going forward. I do need to recognize that every one of us in this room and on screen, online, have tremendous personal and professional sacrifice each of you has made during these last 18 months. Your commitment to Seec, to the people we support, and to the cause of inclusion, despite this crazy pandemic that we've lived in, is outstanding. Thanks to all of you who stuck by us, by your employees, and remained essential during this time. From Bart, who has graciously brought our breakfast today, and will be awarding later an award, at Dawson's, making sure there was toilet paper at the beginning of the pandemic. That was really important. That was the only place I could get it. To the global biotech firm HiGen, who are going to be awarded also later today, making sure that we have test kits still to keep us safe to this very day. From King Street Oyster and the Point Restaurant, making sure that the food was being served and available for people, and to small businesses like Channer Consulting and Gelberg Signs, who were incredibly flexible with creating externship opportunities where others didn't exist. We thank you for all that you've done in this last 18 months and for all that you continue to do going forward. Okay, let me continue the appreciation. Our amazing hosts, Montgomery Parks. This is a beautiful venue. The last time we were all together 2 years ago, we were in this space. It was beautiful then. They've made it more beautiful because outside, those of you who are here can see this beautiful patio that they've created. It's amazing. Thanks to Darlene Douglas, Jenna Moore, and the whole Montgomery Parks crew for giving us this ability to be here. And I hope we'll be back again next year. Darlene, is that right?
I hear you.
Yes, excellent, without masks. So appreciate that, thank you very much. October, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, as I said. The theme this year is America's Recovery, Powered by Inclusion. And you'll learn firsthand this morning from some great stories and speakers and the fabulous award winners that they each demonstrated this commitment to recovery and inclusion. Okay, as you always hear from me, there's also some facts that you get from this day as well. So today's date, we're very fortunate, is also National Black Cat Day. So we're going to be very lucky today. And for those of you who might like to quaff an ale from time to time, this evening, not now, this breakfast time, go coffee, it's National American Beer Day. So cheers to that, I say. Okay, before we dive deep into the program, I want to share with you our video.
People with intellectual and developmental disabilities want a life like everybody else. They want an opportunity to live, work, and thrive. They want a job where they can contribute and have a paycheck. They want a job that is meaningful, where they belong and where their gifts and talents are highlighted. They want to live in a home that they choose, with a roommate they want to live with, and in communities where they belong. They want to grow and develop just like everyone else. They want to continue to learn new skills and explore new hobbies and pastimes. The over 200 men and women that work at Seec support that reality for people with disabilities to live, work, and thrive as members of their community.
So I think probably the biggest apprehension about hiring somebody with a differing ability is can they do the job? Is it going to require more time to get that person up to speed? And because of Seec's help and the coaches that are available that come in and work with these individuals, that's really not been an issue.
You can never compare anything to the benefits that you get from having these kids on your team. They will reinvigorate your staff. They will come in and do the hard work that's required, and they'll really just bring you so much joy.
Seec has been very, very supportive with giving not only QIAGEN, but the Seec employees resources in order to be successful at the job. I think if you are interested as a company, just reach out, ask those questions, build a foundation. Seec will give you whatever you need.
He gets here on time every single day at the same time, if not even earlier. He's really able to manage his time effectively. Steven's just really good with people. He really likes to, make sure that everyone likes him, enjoys his presence.
I love the people I work with, and I love my life.
There are many advantages to being an employer partner of Seec, like pre-screened candidates, higher retention rates, improved efficiency, and positive workplace culture. Learn how Seec can help your diversity and inclusion goals by visiting us at seekonline.org.
Let's move into a little bit about who Seec is. For those of you who do know who Seec is, Seec's Employment Services and Project Search Program support close to 300 men and women with complex disabilities to not only find jobs, but launch careers. We provide what I like to call customized entry-level staffing solutions with pre-screened, qualified, and committed job seekers who possess different abilities. We work with federal agencies from the Securities Exchange Commission to the Smithsonian, with local agencies from Montgomery County to the state of Maryland, from retailers to restaurants, from hospitals to hotels, and from lawyers to labs. We work with businesses of all shapes and sizes, from single-owner LLCs to the prestigious 30,000 strong National Institutes of Health in Bethesda. As some of you know about me, I'm a recovering engineer, right? And so I love data. I like sort of sharing data. And I have 3 data points. I might have a 4th if it comes to it in the end. 3 data points I'd like to share with you. The first number that I share with you is 16. 16 sounds like a low number. So 16%. On average, 16% is the number of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities who are employed. Terribly low, woefully low, right? Something we are here today to celebrate those people who are getting jobs and to create that awareness and inclusion for more people. 16%, remember that number. The second number is 70. So it's also a percentage, much better than the 70%. 70% is our average graduation rate of project search interns who get employment. So weigh that out, 70% versus 16%. The great work that the project search team and the go from 16%, we are working there, 16% to 70%. That's an important factor, and we want to keep moving that forward. My last number is 2, back to a small number. But if you put the units behind it, $2 million, it's a much bigger number. And that is the cumulative amount of money that is earned by the people that Seec supports. So the men and women who are working full-time, part-time, to help them live, to have rent, to go out to eat, to bring back into this economy and this recovery and this power, again, by inclusion. So those numbers are good. The other number I am going to share with you is 45. So again, back to the earlier comment about the cases per 100,000 in Montgomery County. We are in our 6th day, almost our 7th day of being below 50. That means these masks will be able to come off in the future, hopefully by midnight tonight. And in a year's time when we're back here, we won't be having these masks and funky abnormalcy and tech issues dealing with, and we'll have more people back in the room. So appreciate that. Okay, enough of the data. So my last thank you that I have is the team of people who put this event together. Katie Barrett, who's commanding us with the Tech Issues Communications and Development Director of Seec. Nancy Eby, the Project Search Director here at Seec. Pam Toole, employee outreach lead, the employee outreach specialist, Linda Hoyt and Katie Smeltz, and lastly but not least, Katrina, our event specialist, who pulled all the logistics together and made sure that we could be here today. We thank everybody in that whole team. Thank you. Okay, looks like we might be getting some tech up here. Maybe not. Okay, so we have 5 amazing speakers who are going to talk about their experience about inclusion and their powering through recovery. First up is a very dear friend of mine, Madam Secretary Carol Beatty, the Secretary of the Department of Disabilities here in the state of Maryland. So Carol and I have this amazing relationship. She is a rabid, die-hard Ravens fan, and as some of you know, I am not. So, NFL differences aside, I still call Carol a dear friend, and apart from a little bit of trash talk that might go on between us, we still survive. So, let me just tell you a little bit about Carol. Carol's been committed to this. Carol, thank you. Oh, that got loud. Carol's been dedicated to the commitment of inclusion her whole career. And this was recognized, the dedication was recognized with her appointment to a cabinet-level position as a Secretary of the Department of Disabilities back in 2015 by Governor Hogan. Carol's continued her ardent support of employment initiatives for persons with disabilities, and especially the successful Project Search program across the state of Maryland. Now we have 14 programs across the whole state. Carol also prides herself on overseeing the passage of the Ken Capone Equal Employment Act of 2016, ensuring Maryland became one of the first states in the country to eliminate sub-minimum wage. Thank you for that, Carol. And thanks to Carol for being a true believer and ardent supporter of inclusion in employment and for joining us this morning and every morning. Carol's been with us all of these 7 events, even virtually last year, and we really appreciate the support. Please welcome Carol.
Figure out how to do both here without tripping over this lady here. Thank you. So you do know who Steve roots for, right? He's not even a it's not even a local team. See if it was
He's from England, too.
the Washington football team or whatever it's called these days. But thank you for that warm introduction, and it has been my honor, pleasure to be here for all of your these events, the Ndeam events, and I want to encourage you to continue to figure out the technology, right? Because even if we do gather all together, what we have found for people with disabilities in Maryland is that the virtual opportunity or the virtual possibility is great for many people who cannot, easily get to places, but who have managed to figure out and with additional assistance have gotten technology and been able to participate much more fully than they have in the past. And so we as a department and we as a state, part of the state, have decided that we really want to make sure that as we go back to in-person, that we also have the virtual possibility for people who also want to participate. So I bring you greetings from Governor Larry Hogan, from Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford, from the entire Hogan-Rutherford administration and your friends at the Department of Disabilities. And we also bring you congratulations to those who are being honored today for your incredible work. I want to thank everyone at Seec, your volunteer board of directors, your amazing executive director, Karen Lee, and her leadership team, the incredible direct support staff that you have here in this agency, the people that you support and their families and friends. You all have come through, or almost come through. We probably will have to continue to take precautions, but I think we're coming through this incredibly difficult, challenging time with a pandemic. And we're coming out the other end of it, and we're figuring out, okay, what are the opportunities for people with disabilities? What have we learned? And I know that it's been stressful. I was on the phone with your executive director in the spring of 2020, and hearing the incredible stories about what your direct support staff were doing to protect people, to keep people safe, and to make sure that they were still engaged at whatever level that they could possibly be engaged. So thank you all for all the incredible work that you've done, and we want to salute you. Back to employment. So the governor always talks about Maryland being open for business, and that was one of his major focuses as he became governor. But we all know that being a state being open for business means that everybody needs to have opportunities and be able to contribute, and that includes people with significant disabilities. And as we focus on the recovery of our state and the businesses in our state, we have to continue to realize that people with disabilities are going to play a really important role. I mean, we are hearing constantly about the work shortage, worker shortage. We have workers who are ready to work, and we have agencies, incredible agencies like Seec, that are there to support them and help them find those opportunities. So I want to say that the theme for National Disability Employment Awareness Month is America's Recovery, powered by inclusion. And we are, as a department, really focused on that kind of recovery and making sure that the voice of people with disabilities is always there as we make plans for the recovery. We know employment is the foundation for economic independence, and that so a major focus for us is full, meaningful employment for all Marylanders, including those with disabilities, and it's a top priority of our administration. A few years ago, Governor Hogan proclaimed that every October would be Disability Employment Awareness Month in Maryland, and with this in mind, I'd like to present the Governor's proclamation for 2021. So Steve, come up. I'll just read a portion of it. So it says Disability Employment Awareness Month, whereas Disability Employment Awareness Month is an opportunity to recognize the contributions of workers with disabilities, and through national and local campaigns, create greater awareness of the talents and skills of individuals with disabilities that they bring to employers. And whereas we believe in Maryland, which recognizes the unlimited potential of all of our citizens, including those with disabilities, to live, work, and thrive in their communities. We are dedicated to the principles of the Americans with Disabilities Act, particularly as it relates to the rights and freedoms of people to work and, thank you, because it's sticking. To advance in their chosen careers and lead independent and full lives in the communities. And I think this one particularly important right now is that we are committed to the principles that businesses profit by investing in workers with disabilities. Maryland will continue to strive to expand employment opportunities for Marylanders with disabilities and consider work the first option for working age adults with disabilities, thereby giving every Marylander a chance to contribute to the state's economic life and to reap the rewards of that contribution. And so it says, therefore, I, Lawrence J. Hogan, Jr., Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim October 2021 Disability Employment Awareness Month, and hereby commend this observance to all of our citizens and encourage them to participate and promote events throughout the year which celebrate the rights and abilities of those with disabilities. Thank you all for being here today and for being really very powerful, committed partners in the work that we're all doing to advance opportunities and employment for people with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.
So we've got the formal proclamation out of the way. We can now kind of get into the meat of what we're here today to celebrate. We did have a video. We do have a video from Congressman Raskin, who was sharing some welcome remarks, which we'll get out to people.
Hey everyone, it's Congressman Jamie Raskin from Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District, Montgomery, Frederick, and Carroll counties. And I just wanted to send my very best to all my friends at Seec and to wish you all a happy National Disability Employment Awareness Month. I want to salute specifically the efforts of Karen Lee, the Executive Director, and Carol Beatty, who's the Maryland Secretary of Disabilities, in all of their work advocating for people living with disabilities. And I love the way that Seec brings together the people who are job seekers, who need to find a productive and creative place for themselves in the economy, along with the people who provide those jobs and are willing to work to customize and tailor them to the people who are eager to participate. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to say hello to everybody here. We know how difficult it is, well, in general, for everybody to find the right employment, but especially the people who have disabilities. So I want to, praise with all of my heart the work of Karen Lee, the Executive Director, and her great work to make Seec a leader in the IDD community. And I want to also extend my congratulations and my praise to Carol Beatty because of her great advocacy for people with disabilities as a member of the governor's cabinet in Maryland and as the Secretary of Disabilities. So I hope that you have a great and wonderful event. Keep up the terrific work so we close the gap between the needs and desires of people who want to participate in the economy and then the right number of opportunities and positions for them. So thanks for what you do, and keep up the great work and stay healthy, everybody.
As a retail clerk at Jenks. Mike will tell you all the details. He knows it much better than I do. But from the beginning, it was an ideal partnership, which led Mike to become an ardent advocate, not only for Vincent, but for tens of other DC job seekers with disabilities. His leadership convinced the H Street corridor of businesses to come together to do a job fair that Jenks actually hosted, which along with Mike's leadership manifested itself into job offers, work trials, and internships. Additionally, Mike was incredibly humble as he continued to operate his retail storefront in Northeast DC throughout this pandemic, providing much needed equipment and resources while supply chains have been jammed. We keep hearing about supply chains, adding new lines of business, and most importantly, sticking by his values of inclusion through it all. I'm super excited to share with everyone a clip. We may be not getting the clip, of a well-known guest who actually stopped by Jenks just this year.
Both to homes, and we donate locally here in the neighborhood.
Now, you've been engaged in the neighborhood too. You sponsor Little League team, don't you?
We do. We sponsor a Little League team. We also we run job fairs for special needs programs to get their students to help them find employment. We've actually hired 3 people from that job program. It's called Project Search. It's a partnership between a nonprofit and the DC government, and they do a great job training their students who are special needs and be able to work in an environment like this and be great contributors.
Have you hired any of those folks?
We've hired 3.
3?
Yeah.
And
Mary participated in our first job fair. We were going to do another one, but obviously the pandemic has halted our ability to do that, but when things go back to normal, we're going to continue to do those job fairs.
Enough of me. I'm going to turn it over to Mike. Thank you, our keynote speaker, Mike Siegel.
Find my notes here. Can y'all hear me in the back? I'm going to not use the microphone. You don't need to use it for the webcast. Up to the webcast? Okay. All right. Thank you, Steve, for that introduction and for inviting me here to speak today. I want to echo Steve's previous comments about the importance of physically coming here and doing this. When they had mentioned this to me, they had originally offered it as doing it as a previously recorded video, but to me, having the opportunity to come down here, I think is very important. I mean, probably one of the biggest things that we've lost over the course of the past 18 months is the sense of community and people coming together. So for me, it was a no-brainer, and I want to point out how important this event was to me. I am not a morning person. The other side of the Beltway, I left the house at 7 a.m. I hope that indicates how important this event is and how true it is to me. Yes, thank you. I learned at a young age it's a lot easier to speak about something you care deeply about. However, I think if you spoke to me at a younger age, I'm not sure I would have guessed employment strategies for hiring special needs students would have been a priority of mine. But that's the beauty of the human experience, our ability to evolve and grow over time. I can't pinpoint an exact date, but I suspect it was probably late 2017 or early 2018 when Chelsea Simpson, a special education teacher with Project Search in DC, began calling on me to see if I would consider hiring one of her students. It's tough for me to admit this, but I think it is an important part of this story, so I will admit it. I wasn't initially very receptive to the idea of hiring a special needs student. We're a small operation, we don't have unlimited resources, and we make hiring decisions based on what makes the most sense for our business. We don't exactly have a goodwill budget. All of our employees need to be pulling on the rope to maximize our productivity. And so very wrongly, my perspective at that point in time was a special needs student wouldn't be a good fit for us. And I think that Chelsea sensed that was my hesitation. She was never rude about it. And I think that's also a very important part of this story. Her reaction could have been harsh. As a society, in my view, we see the opposite way too frequently. The I was born enlightened and you are not, therefore I'm right and you're wrong. And I'm going to ridicule and harass you until you see the world from my perspective. That's not an effective way to communicate to people. It just isn't. It's divisive and it alienates potentially good people from engaging on important topics and issues. And I think had she taken that very popular 21st century approach, I wouldn't be standing here today because I would have just disconnected from the conversation. And for me, that would have been a personal tragedy. I would have never hired Vincent and Adrian. I never would have got to work with the wonderful people at Seec and Project Search. Instead, the approach she took with me was to work very carefully and courteously. And after a few attempts, she finally convinced me to just interview Vincent. And during the interview, I could tell I was going to like Vincent a lot. But I still wasn't sure what he was going to be able to do for us as an employee. But I felt like I had to give him a chance. I mean, I haven't seen somebody have that much enthusiasm about interviewing at a hardware store. Probably never will. Interacting with him, it was obvious I needed to hire him. So, and then about 5 days into his time with us, we started part-time. It was obvious that this was going to need to be a permanent position with him, and so he works 5 days a week. He puts in 40 hours, and he's been doing that for almost 3 years. Actually, yeah, 3 years, yeah. And a lot of that credit goes to Vincent for being who he is. He's positive, he's hardworking, he's clever, he's mechanical, and he just truly has a vision for what he does. And when he sets out to accomplish something, he gets it done. Very early on in his time with us, he kept telling me he wanted to get his driver's license and get a car. The day he showed up for work in a four-door 2018 Ford Fusion and a big smile on his face was the last day I ever doubted Vincent Williams. And he wears many hats for us, but his primary role is in merchandising. The layouts he creates are almost always in his head, and they're generally flawless. There are times, however, when he does get carried away. The biggest issue you have with an employee is that he obsesses over the layout of the store. That's usually a pretty good employee. I do have to say, as great and as talented as Vincent is on his own, I know that Project Search refined him and gave him the skills needed to be a productive and highly independent member of society. None of us are so talented that we can take on the world from day one. We need structure, we need guidance, and most importantly, we need education. There are many ways to get those building blocks, and not every way works well for every child and student. I can say, though, Project Search worked well for Vincent, and it has done an extraordinary job training and preparing all of its students to be members of the workforce. And I do have to say, in my experience with hiring high school and college-age kids, there aren't many 18-year-olds who take pride in how professional they are. And that's a quality that I observe to be almost universally true with every single Project Search student that I've encountered. Project Search undoubtedly teaches its students how to work hard, how to be responsible, and how not to be just professional in what they do, but also to be proud of what they do. If you're an employer and you're hiring, what more can you want from an employee than someone who is responsible, works hard, and most importantly, is exceptionally proud to work? To understand the dignity of work is a remarkable thing. Many of us take it for granted, but interact with somebody who really had to struggle to find meaningful employment, and you might better appreciate that concept. Vincent says this phrase often: I love my job, Mike, do you love yours? I mentioned earlier that my obliviousness to what a special needs applicant can offer to our business was an important part of the story. I say that because when I became a more positive part of the conversation about special needs employment was when I realized that I couldn't be the only employer out there who had a misguided notion about what a special needs person could add in the workplace. And that point really hit home for me when Vincent said that he felt bad for some of his friends from Project Search who were having trouble finding employment. And that's the reality of setting. A lot of employers are missing out on a talented but overlooked section of the workforce. And from there, talking with Steve Blanks, Brandon Williams from Project Search, the idea of hosting a job fair with local businesses and getting Seec and Project Search students there, it took off. The job fair was successful. We recruited our second Project Search student to work for us from that job fair. And immediately after the job fair, Steve and I were already brainstorming how to make the next one better, and someone else in the room just wanted to confirm I was interested in keeping these going. My response, which I totally regret now, was, of course, if we're still in business, if there's some crazy pandemic, so I kidding. No, I'm kidding. That part of the conversation didn't happen. But all jokes aside, when the pandemic did hit, life changed for everyone overnight. And what seemed normal and routine no longer worked. And we were fortunate as a business to be able to stay open the whole time. I mean, we were blessed, and that was a stroke of good luck, but it wasn't without the stress and hard hours. We depended on staff to do things in a way that was not ordinary. But we did those things in an odd manner to keep our staff and our customers safe. And throughout all of it, the two of the employees that I leaned on hardest were Vincent and without dedicated employees like that, there's no way we could have gotten through this. And I think it's a testament to them as people, but it's also a testament to the organizations that help mold them into good, productive, responsible members of the workforce. And I think we all know this, the incentives existed for people not to go to work during that time. So many businesses across the country are still experiencing a terrible labor shortage because on some level there are incentives that exist that disincentivize people from having a job. But these two never thought about not working. They've been rewarded for it, both having received promotions in the past year that are consistent with what I feel is their growth as people and employees and with what they're contributing to our operation on a daily basis. I said earlier, part of my hesitation about initially hiring a special needs student was because we didn't have that goodwill budget. What I've learned since is that a well-trained person, regardless of their background, has unlimited potential and utility. And for a small business out there who might look at hiring special needs students as a goodwill hire, I can tell you that it's not. This is a mutually beneficial relationship where you get a highly trained and skilled employee who enhances your operation, and in turn they get to work in a place where they can create opportunity to build and achieve financially independent lives for themselves. So I like to think that my participation in this issue can be viewed as a positive. truly assess how I got here, you have to understand I didn't initially have the familiarity with the special needs community to grasp how overlooked they were in the workforce. And quite frankly, if I'm being honest, I contributed to the problem of them being overlooked in the workplace. And some might say that that's a terrible form of ignorance. Those aren't serious people. Serious people are like Chelsea, they're like Steve Blanks, they're like Brandon Williams. When they believe in the cause, they engage with other people in a rational way, and they work to show them the way. My primary message here today is to encourage other employers to engage with the special needs community in hiring. My secondary message is to think about how we engage with people whom we want to join our cause. This isn't exclusive to hiring special needs students. This is true in any aspect of life. No one was born enlightened. We are all a work in progress. Not seeing the light one day doesn't mean we won't be next. I appreciate you all having me down here today. Congratulations to all of them for working with us.
All right, thank you, Mike. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Pam Toole, our employee outreach lead, and she's going to take us to the exciting part.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mike. Your words are inspiring. Your story is incredible. The success of Vincent is the ultimate success story, someone who's truly thriving, which is our goal. But I think also your trajectory from skeptic to true believer is what Seec tries to achieve, and specifically what the employer outreach team, that's our goal, right? We're trying to turn people on to this amazing benefit. So my name is Pam Toole. I lead the employer outreach team. I am joined by two amazing people, Linda Hoyt and Katie Smeltz, who will be joining me in this next segment. Without their on the ground work, we can't achieve the things that we achieve. So the next segment is our exciting part, as Steve said, the award ceremony. So we're going to go and hit those beautiful awards that have been sitting off to the side, waiting to be into people's hands, are going to start being in people's hands. So the first award that I'm so eager to present is what we call the Ambassador Award. This award is given to an employer or business who has demonstrated a heightened commitment in the past year to representing Seec and our employment efforts in the community. Seec is fortunate to have many ambassadors, many of you in the room. We can't do the work we do without all of you. And this year, even though it was challenging to make this choice because we have so many great ambassadors, despite that, it was unanimously decided and agreed upon that the winner this year will go to John Ryan of National Geographic. Since early 2020s, when we started talking, John has been instrumental in navigating discussions within National Geographic and within its broader parent company, Disney, which focused on internships, employment, awareness training, and more recently, mentorship in the media industry. John also devoted much time and energy this past year to speaking to our job seekers in our job club. In recent months, John has been working with Seec staff to develop a mentorship pilot between National Geographic and Disney volunteers and Seec-supported job seekers. That kicked off this September. Our first session is underway right now. Together, they're hoping that this pilot will become a model for other organizations interested in supporting employment for disabilities. Thank you, John, for your partnership, your creativity, your enthusiasm, and your unwavering support. I'm going to turn this over to Linda Hoyt now to present the next award. Yes, I didn't know I had my slide. Is this the same one? Yes. Yes, okay. Sorry. Slide came up while I was talking. So we do have other recognitions within the same ambassador category. That is Kristen Kane, Charity Connect. She's been instrumental in and also Guy Rami of Gelberg Science. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Pam, and to the other ambassadors of Seec. Next up is our Inclusion Work Leadership Award. The Inclusion Work Leadership Award is awarded to an employer or business that has demonstrated their commitment through example. The award winner for this year has demonstrated their commitment time and time again, and in so many different ways, and in 3 different locations. Thank you, Bart Jablonski, for truly being a leader to others to follow. You have provided valuable employment opportunities at Dawson's Market in Rockville, Soulful Cafe in Rockville, and most recently at Dawson's Market in DuPont Circle. You have provided valuable employment opportunities, and we appreciate the employment opportunities for so many capable job seekers, but also your testimonials on our website and the new Seec video that we hope to still reveal yet today. You have welcomed the capable individuals into your work family, and the results are tremendous for all parties. Community includes everyone. Please enjoy the breakfast today, prepared by Dawson's Market, and try the Soulful Cafe coupon that was sent with the link for today's program. Congratulations. Also receiving special recognition for their much appreciated work in the inclusion category are Patricia DeBroof from Assisting Hands of Potomac, Tiffany O'Neill from Cambria Rockville, and Alif Sin from Cambria, Washington, D.C. Capitol Riverfront. I'll hand it back to
Have to take the mask off. Thank you, Linda. This next award is for excellence in mentorship. This award is given to an individual supervisor or natural support coworker within a company or organization that has gone above and beyond to support, encourage, and foster success within that company for a person that seeks supports. I love to say this, the Johns have it. So the Johns have it for mentorship. Seec's Excellence in Mentorship Award goes to John Rock of Sandy Spring Bay for his ongoing professional mentorship of Jonathan Pfeiffer from Indiana. Jonathan just completed his first year at Sandy Spring Bay. So a little background story. The Jonathan mentorship began organically in the early days of the pandemic during Seec's newly relaunched virtual job club after John presented a series on goal setting. John's positivity, openness, and optimism are infectious. After he invited job seekers to contact him, Jonathan, being a strong self-advocate, took him up on it, and soon thereafter they began to meet regularly. After a few short months, I don't even know if it was that long, John identified tasks on projects at Sandy Spring Bay that Jonathan is well suited to perform and got him started on a part-time basis. Since that time, John has helped Jonathan expand his duties and his hours so that he is truly thriving at work. Thank you, John, for the difference you've made in Jonathan's life and for taking an active role to increase employment for people with disabilities. We do have another mentor recognition in this category. Rodrigo at UPS for your work with Brett. We really appreciate your support on John. Thank you. John, if you have anything to say?
Oh, sorry.
Did you have anything to say?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Sorry. Yeah. Just, really appreciate this award. Jonathan, thank you very much for, this is really, I think, when we said very well, celebration of our relationship, and it's it's awesome that every morning we get to, really work together, and we see each other twice a week. I accept this award on behalf of Frank Marambino, who works at Sandy Spring Bank, who helped us get Jonathan through the door. Brian Saylor, who works at Sandy Spring Bank, that helps provide a lot of the tasks, and Willow for all the help and support that she provides Jonathan. And I feel like the real mentorship award belongs to Jonathan, because he makes me better, and he's taught me a lot in this last year and helped me grow more than I have. So just I'm very thankful for this opportunity. The other thing that he's mentored me in is the Jonas Brothers. So we'll do carpool karaoke on the way back home to work today. And but thank you for letting me.
Before I pass the mic, which I'd like to have, I think what John, you just said is that it makes us all better people, right? It makes us better managers, it makes us better at what we do in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I'm here to present the Customized Employment Award. This award recognizes an employer that truly understands how customized employment can provide an inclusive pathway for those seeking to enter the workforce and grow as professionals. This year's award goes to Mr. Greg Caston, the owner of the Point DC and many other businesses. When I first met Mr. Caston, he immediately shared his enthusiasm for meeting our job seekers and finding a role for them at one of his restaurants. His life experience with a relative with a developmental disability gave him a perspective and knowledge that allowed him to understand the value in customizing a position for Deborah Alexander. Greg Caston saw Deborah's potential and called upon executive chef Benjamin Lambert to customize a role for her in his kitchen that fits her interests and her abilities. We want to say a special thank you to Chef Lambert also for supervising and mentoring Deborah. Deborah's long-term goal is to work in the food service industry and possibly become a chef. By giving her a food prep job, she's taken her first step on her career journey. Deborah's confidence has grown, and she takes pride in her work, including putting potatoes in this really cool and interesting machine that molds them into these long shapes for delicious French fries, trimming and preparing green beans, and plating food. Deborah loves going to work at the Point DC, so close to her home in Washington, D.C. She feels very comfortable and accepted by the Point, and she loves her friendly and kind coworkers. Recently, Mr. Cassidy has also hired an intern to work at his Tony and Joe's restaurant, also in D.C., and we're hopeful that it just keeps growing. On behalf of Seec, Deborah and her family, and Joe Wilson, her amazing job coach, we present you with this award to show our appreciation for your support to Deborah and to Seec. Congratulations to Mr. Caston and the Point DC.
Speech, but I will tell you this, I think it's a wonderful program, and I think it's wonderful what you do. And I said I would come here today because I think it's important that you realize there's people out there who want to help, you just have to go find them. And so I'm an example of that, right? I have some members of my family with Down syndrome and whatnot, and when we can give back and have the opportunity to give back, we'll let you do it. And I think there's more people out there. I'm not deserving of any recognition. Deborah's great. What we tried to do with Deborah is to create an environment of comfort and allow her to develop at her own pace, and meanwhile try to make it economically sound. Everybody starts as a dishwasher, and everybody works through, and we try to treat her no different than we would any other employee, except we try to make awareness for everybody in the establishment so that they know what's going on with her, well, not that's a terrible way to put it, but they're just aware of the situation and what we're trying to accomplish there. I think she's going to flourish. I think she's going to really develop into a wonderful culinary artist, really is what they are when they get to the top of their game. And thank you for allowing me to participate, and I appreciate your work very much.
Thank you again, Katie, and thank you, Mr. Caston, for the opportunities that you have provided. Was there others that we wanted to make mention of in that category as well?
Oops. Okay. Yes, and also, in addition, we want to give 2 more certificates of recognition in the customization category. One is Mr. Rick Allison, who's one of the owners of King Street Oyster Bar in Park Potomac. He's found a wonderful spot for Justin Etherton. And the other certificate of recognition is for Kate Dean from Rupert Landscaping in Laytonsville, Maryland. Thank you both, and congratulations on your efforts. Thank you.
Good things to report. We don't want to overlook any recognition. So next we have the Rising Star Award. This award recognizes the employee who has excelled and grown considerably over the course of the past year. This year we are happy to announce that we have 2 award winners in this category. Jose Mejia and Guillermo Sanchez share the honor for their work at Kaijin. We all know that laboratory sciences were and continue to be vital services. We are grateful for the team at Kaijin, led by Tracy Hall, John Rockwell, Jave Bass-Perry, and Amy Stover, that saw the way for Jose and Guillermo to join their team and to contribute to the vital operations. While they were supported by Melissa and Pam with initial learning of processes and procedures, they have grown substantially and are now completing their roles independently and producing at high levels. Thriving and excelling because of their abilities and because of Kaijin made the opportunity possible. When talking to these young men after the program, they can share with you what their full-time paychecks have allowed them to do. Very exciting things. Congratulations, Jose and Guillermo, and thank you to the Kaijin team. Is welcome to join you with your picture to the side as well. If you have other family members or anybody that wants to say something, they're welcome to at this time.
My name is Jave Bass-Perry. I am the Associate Director of First Shift Operations at Kaijin Sciences. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to Jose and Guillermo for all the work that you've done with Kaijin. I really appreciate everything that you've contributed. And I also want to give a special thanks to Amy Stover for mentoring them, and also just being very supportive in this process. And also, I want to give a special thanks to Pamela and Miss Melissa, for supporting us as well during this process and making this a very, very easy transition. All right, you guys can go to the side for a picture as well.
Thank you. Congratulations. Also receiving special recognition in this category is Jessica Lipsher for her work at Walgreens, and a special thanks to her manager, Joe. For the next award, we'll hear from Nancy E.B., the Project Search Program Director. Thank you, Linda. Jose and Guillermo, I love how you coordinated your outfits for this one. I think you're the only award winners that did that. The next award is the Janet Albondi Award. It is bestowed every year to an individual employee supported by Seec who has demonstrated long-term success and commitment to the workforce with at least 3 years of successful employment at an organization. This year's awardee is Ernest Davis, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes. He's been working at the Smithsonian's National Postal Museum for the past 7 years. He's worked under the Exhibits Department and currently works with the Department of Education and Visitor Services. Throughout his employment, Ernest has demonstrated tremendous growth in his work performance, as well as his personal life that I think he's going to share with you as well. Through COVID-19, he's continued to work in person, performing essential tasks to help keep the museum safe and clean.
Ernest has worked under several supervisors and been able to adapt to the changing needs of the museum, which has really been critical of his successful employment. Due to his reliability and willingness to learn, Ernest's supervisor recently increased his work days back up to 4, and he's now responsible for cleaning more areas of the museum and delivery to different mail departments. His work ethic and independence make him a great candidate for the Janet L. Bundy Award. Congratulations, Ernest. You want to come on up?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. My name is Ernest Davis. I am a former intern of Project Search Smithsonian. I currently work at the National Postal Museum in Washington, D.C. I am very upbeat. I am very professional, optimistic, and accommodating and supportive. I would like to thank my supervisor, Ms. Jessie Acoin. I would also like to thank my second supervisor, Ms. Ryan Taylor. Thank you, Ms. Jessie Acoin and Ms. Ryan Taylor for your support and accommodations. I would also like to thank Ms. Ashley Grady for teaching me how to be professional and how to be thorough. I would also like to thank Seec for all your help in giving me this award. Thank you very much.
And a special thank you to Ashley Grady from the Smithsonian Institution for being here today. We're going to do pictures off to the side over there, Ernest. Ashley and Ellie can go over there too. Thank you. And then we additionally are recognizing Kristen Higgins with Executive House Management Services and Bridget Liu with Resident Labs. So we're winding down this morning, and we have our final award of the morning. Our final award of the morning, this lady has been with a Seek and Project Search supporter for over 10 years. Can you believe that? Wow. Time really does fly when you're having fun, right, Darlene? Darlene Douglas with Montgomery Parks is being recognized today for her leadership and diversity as a key player in Project Search and Seek's partnership with Parks. She's been instrumental in helping develop over 20, plus actually one new one this week, right? One new internship developed, opportunities through those 10 years. She's participated in our semi-annual mock interviews, providing valuable feedback to job seekers, and she's been an advocate across all areas of the massive Parks organization for promoting inclusion in the workplace. When the pandemic shifted our work, we were uncertain how this would impact our programs, but Darlene helped lead the way for Parks and other partners by identifying needs within her organization that provided valuable learning experiences for interns. And that includes some of our first ever virtual internship opportunities, which is an exciting thing for the future for us. She served as a role model within Parks and most recently led outreach to Prince George's County to help further the mission. So we're excited to hopefully continue that partnership as well. Darlene is also the reason that we're here today at beautiful Brookside Gardens, so thank you for that. And never one to miss a celebration. She understands the importance of recognizing those people that prioritize a diverse and inclusive workplace. For all those reasons and more, we're recognizing Darlene as a leader in diversity. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. It's been my honor working with Nancy, Evie, Karen, Steve, meetings every quarter. Thank you all very much, and all the organizations. I congratulate you all for working so closely with people with disabilities. I'm a little emotional, not sure why, but this has been a successful 10 years, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I have to really thank all of the divisions in Montgomery County Parks. They have been absolutely wonderful for believing in me to take on these wonderful people. I was skeptical 10 years ago, and didn't realize that this was going to be a successful program until I started meeting these wonderful people. And so I took that energy back to my administrative as well as the operations group and said, just give them a chance. And once they started hiring them, bringing them on, the recognition and the feedback that I received was just absolutely amazing. They said, oh my God, I will do this again. Please send them, send more. They are fabulous, and because of that, we've had a couple of hires, another hire 2 weeks ago, for customer service, and that's great. And so just going forward, if you're not a believer in these wonderful people, just try it. You will learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about yourself. And don't be afraid of the change that it will bring on you, because definitely it will be positive. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Seec, for this wonderful award.
Thank you, Darlene, for your continued support, and then we'll be reaching out with you to schedule a meeting soon to think about next rotation. So this concludes our awards presentation for the morning. A big congratulations again to all of our award winners and those recognized today. Before we do close out, there are several other critical local inclusion leaders in the audience, some in person, some hopefully virtually, that I'd like to recognize. Marianne Sofranco with the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, NINDS, and she's representing our partnership with NIH. Karen Hochberg, representing our partnership with Montgomery County Government, and Ashley Grady, who I mentioned that's here in person, the Senior Program Manager with the Accessibility Office at the Smithsonian Institution, and Charlie Hill, General Manager at the Hilton Crystal City. None of these sites would also be possible without our partners from Ivy Mount, Blue Merrick, and Susan Holt, and from DCPS, Ashley Roney and Wendy Parker. So to wrap up our program, I have the honor of introducing Karen Lee, who's been our Seec's Executive Director for over 30 years. Karen's vision ensures that all people that Seec supports have clear paths to truly inclusive, truly meaningful, and truly purposeful lives. Her passion for equal rights of individuals with most significant disabilities really does push us harder each day to not only to work harder, but also to work smarter. So thank you, Karen. If that wasn't enough, if leading 200 staff and a $20 million nonprofit wasn't enough, Karen took on a role of leading the state of Maryland into a more aggressive stance on inclusion and competitive employment. She's a powerhouse for sure. She's been able to pull together leaders from all critical workforce systems in Maryland to create a dynamic employment-first strategic platform. On top of this, Karen has become a nationally recognized subject matter expert in customized employment, and she can be seen many weeks of the year consulting and training across the country. Karen's pursuit for increased inclusion pushes her every day and ensures that Seec maintains a clear vision of customized, integrated employment for all. Thank you, Karen.
I usually get, and now it's Karen. So I was a little surprised. So Lady to give that speech, he had a lot of great one-liners in it, right? The human experience, right? This is the human experience. And, you know, as a part of this organization, I have obviously, because so many of you as employers and people that we provide supports to and partners and mentors, you have come in contact with a lot of people who aren't me, which means that we have a really deep bench at Seec. We have a philosophy that gets pushed throughout the entire organization and on the daily basis, from our job coaches who are brilliant, and they are always figuring out how to help people to do their jobs better and to be a contributing member of a workforce, to the program managers, the job developers, the department directors, the program directors. I want to recognize Sherry Beamer as the director of our services, and Tona, where's Tona? There he is. Tona has joined us recently as the director of employment services. So we have a deep bench at Seec and people who really believe in this work. And we had an opportunity a couple weeks ago where we had the folks from Puerto Rico, the Secretary of Health, the Auxiliary Secretary of Health, the Assistant Secretary of Health, and all of their lawyers came to visit us to see about what services were like. And we went and visited, we had 4 tours, and each of the tours saw somebody at their home, somebody at their work, and somebody who was out in the community doing an activity. And the Secretary of Health, who was just a really genuine guy, he's somebody who is a general practitioner, is a doctor, and had never really seen anything like what we do. When we walked to the car, he said to me, "This changed my life. What you do changed my life. I had no idea." And I'll tell you, one of the really big benefits for me when we take people on tours like that is I got to meet John, who you met today. And I don't know we know that story as well as we should know that story. So we had a virtual job club and asked for volunteers, and he volunteered to be a mentor. Okay, so first, there's number 1. We reached out, we asked people to help, and he stepped forward. That's huge. First of all, that's a risk in and of itself, right? When he did that, he didn't have low expectations for the people in the class or in the job club. He expected them to have goals. And one of the things he said to the Secretary of Health from Puerto Rico was, we have to hold each other accountable, right? So again, we're not a charity for purposes of giving people jobs. We have to hold each other accountable. This is real life. This is economic development, economic freedom, economic opportunity. As Steve said, $2 million in salaries a year. We are contributing and helping people to contribute to the tax base in this state and in this country. And then John talked about how he put it out there that we hold each other accountable. And when we hold each other accountable for doing the work we're supposed to be doing for ourselves, then we have this mutual community that we're a part of. So then Jonathan contacted John, and he held him accountable. So they held each other accountable. And he gave him a job, found a job, gave him a job for 10 hours a week. And then started going to his staff meetings and saying, Jonathan is doing a great job, and does anybody else have other work? And all of a sudden people started to come up with some other ideas for work. And once they came up with some other ideas, it made sense for him to work more hours. And this is the story that we hear over and over and over, year after year after year. Open the door, take a chance, be out there, listen, hold each other accountable. All those things in that experience, and what I heard them talk about that day, is all we're asking. Hold each other accountable, take an opportunity, try something, see what happens. It happened at W. Jenks, it happened at Sandy Spring Bank, it happened at Keegan, it happened at the restaurants, it's happening over and over. It happens at Smithsonian,
right? It happens over and over and over again. So that's all we're asking. So I'm going to have the pleasure of introducing to you our final speaker for today, and that's somebody who took a chance also, Art Blonsky from Dawson's Market. And not only did he take a chance once, and this is a real entrepreneurial spirit, that's one of the things I really love, is because I consider myself an entrepreneur, and this is a real entrepreneurial spirit. So he started off with Dawson's Market. Great market, cool place to be, downtown Rockville, hiring and partnering, not just with Seec, but he opened the door to others, other organizations, not only as a part of the community, as an employer, but also as somebody giving back to the community, to food banks. He opened the door, he was there, he took a chance. Then he started a cafe, Soulful Cafe, at the Main Street, which is an apartment complex in downtown Rockville, so he is like the Rockville guy. And as somebody who's lived in this area for over 35 years, I can tell you, Rockville needed a guy. So I was really happy to see that. And the expansion has continued, and now into DC. And one of the reasons why we've got to get moving here is Bart is actually receiving an award from the DC Department of Vocational Services or Rehabilitation Services today for his work in DC hiring people with disabilities as well. And so that's all we ask, is that you open the door, you take a chance, you hold each other accountable, and you see where our relationships can go. So, Bart, because our relationships have gone so far, I want to thank you and welcome you today. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for the award. I really appreciate the recognition. It really is for our entire store, not just for me, but for all my staff and for everybody that's been a part of Dawson's. I'm just looking through my notes so I don't miss anything. So I just want to echo, some of the comments that Mike made earlier. My experience with Seec has been fantastic. Dawson's Market started in 2012. There's kind of three things that separate us from the competition in the area. Number one is our commitment to local products. Number two is our commitment to the quality ingredients. And then number three is our commitment to the community, and that's where Seec comes into play. We are a community-based store. We are the neighborhood shop. As was mentioned, we had Dawson's in Rockville. We opened Soulful Cafe in September. That's a partnership, September last year. That's a partnership with Main Street. And then just recently in June, we took over a new location in DC. It used to be called Glenn's Garden. It's now Dawson's Market. So, my involvement with Seec, I'm on the Business Advisory Council. And I just want to talk a little bit about, the benefits of working with Seec and working with individuals with different abilities. When I look at it, I see it as the employer's benefit, the employee's benefit, and the customer's benefit. So definitely on the employer side, recruiting is very difficult. I think everybody is aware of that, and most recently it's incredibly difficult to recruit. It's very difficult to find people that want to work. The exception to that is working with people with disabilities. For me, finding some positions that tend to be a little bit harder to fill, I can call up Linda or I can call up Steve, I can reach out to anybody at Seec, and within a very short period of time, I have several candidates to talk to. They do the hard work for you. Recruiting is one of the hardest things to do. And so that's a huge, huge benefit. It's just being able to call one person, send one email out, and get some applicants to you right away. And the applicants are pre-screened. So it's not like putting a post on Indeed and getting 500 applicants and 499 of them really don't want to work. So that's a huge benefit. Secondarily to that is the training piece of it. So, hiring a person, you have training associated with getting that person up to speed. Seec is part of that process as well. So a lot of times when I feel like I hire somebody, I'm really getting two people to start with because I'm getting the Seec's person is they're supporting and then the coach that comes with them. So we end up having on-the-job training that we provide, but then it's supported by somebody from Seec. So again, the learning curve there, one of the concerns I think that most people have in hiring somebody with a different ability is, is it going to take more time to get that person up to speed? Am I going to basically have to spend twice as much time working with that person as I would with another individual? And the answer is generally no, you don't, because Seec is there to support that. So it's a huge benefit. And then there's ongoing support as well. So you think about when you hire a regular employee, if something happens 6 months down the road, who's dealing with that? Well, the manager of that department or myself is sitting down having a coaching session, to work with that person. But with Seec, again, it's that phone call. Hey, can you come in? Can we just review some training again? Or maybe we want to add some more opportunities and add some more hours, as we've heard today. So we call Seec and say, hey, listen, we want to step this person up to the next thing. We want to add a new task. They're there to support that. So again, hugely beneficial. And then, for the reliability and consistency is another huge part of it. We talked a little bit, I heard a little bit before about the enthusiasm of these individuals. So much enthusiasm. And you don't get that from a lot of employees. And so having that person who really wants to come to work is a great thing for any employer. And then for me, the reliability is just phenomenal. We have people that we can count on. They come in and day out, on time, ready to work, know what to do, don't need to be told what to do that day. It's just a huge benefit to have an individual like that can come in and just kind of hit the ground running every day. And their enthusiasm in the job is contagious to everybody. It's not a good word, I guess, but that's infectious. So it's great to have somebody at work because we all have bad days, but these individuals, they don't typically have those bad days. They are enthusiastic to come to work every single day. On the customer side, so for any business, we thrive, we need customers, and so the interaction, when customers come in and have an interaction with one of these individuals, it's hugely beneficial for the store, it's hugely beneficial for that individual. It makes customers see that we really are truly committed to helping out the community, so that's a plus for us, and for our co-workers as well. The individuals that work alongside these Seec people are they enjoy that interaction. I'm so happy to be able to give that to my employees. They may not have had the opportunities at other places to work with individuals with differing abilities, and it's very, very rewarding. So that's another benefit to it. And then, most importantly is the benefit to the individual, to the people that Seec supports. Giving people an opportunity to work, to feel accomplishment, to feel like they're part of something, to feel like they have been empowered to have direction in their life. That's probably the most important part of it for me. Being able to have the opportunity, I'm fortunate to have these stores and to be able to employ a number of people that we can have these positions available. Opening DC allowed us to add 3 more people into a part of Seec, and we hopefully will be adding some more coming soon. So that's a big part of it as well. And for me, I wanted to do something that was good for the world. I wanted to have a job that I felt had an impact and had meaning. And so I got into natural food because there's a lot of crap in the food that we eat. And so, feeding people healthy is something that is my way of giving back and showing people the benefits of those types of foods. And then having this community aspect of it has even made it more special to me personally, and knowing that I've been able to affect the lives of so many individuals, it's personally very beneficial to me. That's why I do it. So I can't say enough about support, about Seec and the support. I encourage anybody that is looking for some people, give them a chance, and as you said, just take a chance, and it's an easy chance to take, because if it doesn't work out, and there's been a couple situations like that, it's okay. It doesn't work out. There's other opportunities for those individuals. It's a lot easier than taking a chance on somebody on Indeed. So it is the benefits, are unbounded benefits to working with individuals with disabilities and working with Seec specifically. So I really just encourage you guys to please do that. Also to become part of the Business Advisory Council as well. That means that we have, one of the great parts about that is you get to meet an individual typically. There's somebody who comes in who's applying for jobs. So we've actually interviewed people and gotten Marco is somebody who was actually one of the people that came up and spoke, and then a couple months later he ended up getting a job at Dawson's. So you may get an applicant out of it, but you also just get those connections and you learn and hear from other individuals that are in varying businesses, they can all kind of speak to the benefits of working with Seec. So thank you guys so much for the award. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so we covered a lot of ground. I apologize for the technical glitches at the beginning. I believe that we're online, so thank you for bearing with us online, people. But we're going to save the best for last. We're going to have our video take us out. We have 2 more minutes of that. There's no more words that I need to say because everybody said all the right things, right? We coached them properly as part of what we do. So thanks, Bart. I know you've got to run the video, and have a good rest of the day, everybody.
People with intellectual and developmental disabilities want a life like everybody else. They want an opportunity to live, work, and thrive. They want a job where they can contribute and have a paycheck. They want a job that is meaningful, where they belong and where their gifts and talents are highlighted. They want to live in a home that they choose, with a roommate they want to live with, and in communities where they belong. They want to grow and develop just like everyone else. They want to continue to learn new skills and explore new hobbies and pastimes. The over 200 men and women that work at Seec support that reality for people with disabilities to live, work, and thrive as members of their community.
So I think probably the biggest, apprehension about hiring somebody with a differing ability is, can they do the job? Is it going to require more time to get that person up to speed? And because of Seec's help and the coaches that are available, that come in and work with these individuals, that's really not been an issue.
You can never compare anything to the benefits that you get from having these kids in your team. They will reinvigorate your staff. They will come in and do the hard work that's required, and they'll really just bring you so much joy.
Seec has been very, very supportive with giving not only Kaijin, but the Seec employees resources in order to be successful at the job. I think if you are interested as a company, just reach out, ask those questions, build a foundation. Seec will give you whatever you need.
He gets here on time every single day at the same time, if not even earlier. He's really able to manage his time effectively. Steven's just really good with people. He really likes to, make sure that everyone likes him, enjoys his presence.
I love the people I work with, and I love my life.
There are many advantages to being an employer partner of Seec, like pre-screened candidates, higher retention rates, improved efficiency, and positive workplace culture. Learn how Seec can help your diversity and inclusion goals by visiting us at seekonline.org.